Sorry, I don't want to say it too loud. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day. So, what are we doing today? We're going to show you my garage. Let's go. All right, so here we go. Bear with me. I'm going to do this as best as possible. There's a lot of stuff in here. I might skip something, but if I do, comment down below. Let me know, hey, I wanted to see that, but you didn't talk about it, kind of thing. So let's get started. All right, so this is my two-stage compressor. I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace many years ago. It'll build up to 170 psi. I believe this is an 80-gallon storage tank. It's pretty badass. I'm having an issue with it. I believe I got to pull the head apart. There's a reed pedal, like a two-stroke, that's probably broken. So when it builds up pressure and it goes to kick back on, it doesn't want to come back on, like it struggles, and almost like air from the tank is locking the head. So that's what the pedals are for. But anyway, so my favorite compressor, I will save this till the end of time because it works really well. Very powerful. Just a cheapo sandblasting tank. I need to give it some love. I've done a couple of minor modifications to it. I added a big light in here. Again, pardon me, there's some things that are messy, but it works really good. It leaks, things are loose, sand goes flying everywhere, but I don't use it that often, but it works. For small parts I do. Get a couple more lights on here. This is a 6-inch vise from Harbor Freight. Love it. Very powerful. It's very stout. This is the bumper for the Cameo. I'll show you something. See the Texas 1985. That's the last time the Cameo seen the road. So it was registered. I gotta work on this. I'll show you all that in another video, but absolute must-have if you plan on modifying cars. Definitely want to get you an Evolution chop saw. I love this chop saw. Cannot speak highly enough. Save up your pennies. Buy an Evolution chop saw. This is my Wen drill press. Eventually, when I get some more money, I want to replace this with a freestanding drill press. This comes in handy, but it's still a little too small. It works. Drill out a lot of brackets. All my brackets that I make works very well. So I got a fantastic collection of flat discs, cut-off wheels. Never have enough cut-off wheels and grinding discs. Sawzall blades. These Diablo blades work really well. I mean, extremely well. I love those blades for cutting and ripping through metal. This is a table that I had made, my work table. I got a little steel supply underneath. This is where I keep everything. All my DOM for control arms on here. All different size box tubing. This is more of bigger box tubing. This is smaller box tubing. And then my tubing, my DOM. Miscellaneous pieces. I know it's kind of running low, but that's okay. Lots of drill bits, assorted drill bits. These are kind of my favorite. These were my favorite, like extra favorite. The DeWalt ones, the titaniums, they don't make those no more. Obviously, they were probably too much money to make. But those titaniums worked really well. Really well. So moving right along, I have some assorted clamps. I need to up my size, get some more of those or make some, which I'm gonna do. Everything's about time. This is what I use currently for bead rolling. It's not the greatest, but it works on 18 gauge steel. I'm going to, again, once I have some money, get me a freestanding bead roller. So my DOM is 1.5 DOM. This is, yeah, all 1.5 DOM, 1-inch DOM. DOM is used on this tool right here. This is my JD squared bender. I love it. This is my best friend in the whole wide world. No, I'm teasing. A lot of stuff happens with this bender. The dies are interchangeable. You pull this pin right here like this. You pull this guide out right here, then this changes. This is matched to this, so if you use a 1 3/4 die, you're going to use an 1 3/4 shoe or guide to, you know, run your tubing through. This is air over hydraulic, so this is a hydraulic piston. This is a converter from air to hydraulic. Once you plug in air pressure, it makes all sorts of noises and follows the travel. This is a JD squared notcher. This can rotate. I believe it's 90 degrees. You can change the angle of it. I had a cheapy notcher, but what I found was using the cheapy notcher, the bushing inside of here went to shit. Just wasn't made well. Some people say you don't need a notcher. I don't know. It's a little expensive, but to me it's worth it. Everything's different to different people. You may say, oh, that's too much money. I may say, oh, it's not enough. You know, you can't replace it. It comes in handy. Whatever, to each his own. So this is because I was from Long Island. I collect shit like this. But yeah, I got a set of torches up here. I need to get tanks, oxygen and acetylene. I got the regulators up there. When I moved from Long Island to Florida, I had to leave my tanks behind. I didn't want to transport them. God forbid, get into an accident, create a big old bomb. Yeah, so this is my shop fan, obviously. It's a little workstation that I have here, another little cabinet. Now this area back here, light on, this area back here, I need to obviously clean it. It's a mess. I'm a little embarrassed of it, but it's okay though, because it's baby steps. So when I'm building a truck or whatever, all the parts go in this corner. I need to set up my nuts and bolts. Garage Fab had a nice cabinet that he used to put all his nuts and bolts in. One day I'll get that far, but for now, this is my special magical nut and bolt bin. I'm telling you, these things breed inside of here. Every time I need a nut or a bolt, I always manage to find it inside of here. Lots of grade 8 hardware. All I use is grade 8 hardware. Here's another one. This is all 1/2 inch stuff. This one doesn't multiply. These just, because it's all stainless. I don't know, stainless must have a non-multiplying rate, whereas grade 8 and mild steel must multiply. I gotta figure that out, but I've got some brass hardware. This is stuff I've acquired from work. That's why I have it. I'm a big brass and copper kind of guy, so I like saving shit like this. These are brass lock washers. I have a bunch of that shit in here, but yeah, so one of these days I'm gonna organize this whole corner. One of these days I'm gonna get my TV hooked up. Here, you old school lovers, you tell me when's the last time you seen one of those. That was one of my favorite kicker boxes back in the day. I don't know if I can climb up there, but This had the old passive radiators on the bottom sides, 10-inch radiators with 8-inch subs. Phenomenal sounding box. This box cost me $200 and a huge bribe to get this box. You cannot find these boxes anymore. If you have anything like this, comment down below, hit me up. I love collecting stuff like this. So I've got some brand new Rockford Fosgate amps. These are Rockford Fosgate subs for the Samurai or whatever I'm going to use. These are PPSH 10s, I believe. These are phenomenal. They sounding mids and highs. And then I've got some old, which I can't reach it, Alpine 150x2s, 100x2s, blue lines. You know what? Hold on. All right, so when I got into car audio back in the day, these were my favorite amps. This is a Alpine 150x2, extremely hard to find. These things kicked ass. If you had these back in the day, you would know. Always had problems with the remote burning up, just little things you remember. But yeah, these things were awesome. I have, I believe, 2 of these. I believe this is 100 by 100. Friggin' things are heavy. Or 150x2. I have a 3544. This is a, oh, they're both the same. So yeah, these are 150x2s, 3544s. Let me put this up here. I don't know, I'm a weirdo. I kind of save old shit like this, whether I use it or not. These are the old blue line. This one's missing it. This is a 100x2, I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I used to know all the model numbers to all this stuff, like the back of my hand. If you know the model numbers to these Alpines, comment down below. Pardon me. But yeah, I save stuff like this. I'm a big Alpine collector. I thought I had a few more. I could have sworn I had a few more, but who knows. Anyway, moving right along. These are my wheels for the Samurai that got screwed up. 5 on 4.5. They were supposed to be 5 on 4 3/4. This is some more shit. Storage. Can never have enough storage. All right, toolbox. I don't have the fanciest toolbox. Toolbox don't make you a rock star. Having Snap-on tools or Matco tools. No, that's not how. Really? Look at this. Dragonfly just flew in here. Tools do not make you a rock star. Tools just help you, you know, get the job done. Sorted sockets, standard metric, standard ratcheting wrenches, regular wrenches, metric, screwdrivers just don't belong in here. And then just your standard, you know, vice grips, channel locks, crescent wrenches, probes, cutters, all that shit. So let me turn this around. So don't think for 1 second that all this shit, you know, I'm just going to go to the store and I'm going to buy all these tools. It doesn't work that way. The way this works is every time I would do a build or something, if I didn't have it, I'd go to the store and I'd buy it. And that's how you build your collection. Your collection grows as you build more things. So, you know, tomorrow I might do something on my my Chevy, my Duramax, and I don't have that tool. Well, I'm gonna need to buy the tool so I have it for next time. And that's the whole process. Don't be overwhelmed like, oh my God, I have to buy all these tools and I got to buy all this and that to start building cars and trucks. And it doesn't work that way. You start small. Like I said, just get the basics, and as you need, you just buy one at a time. You don't need to spend $1 billion on tools. And that's why I haven't upgraded, you know, my cabinets, because I just can't see it. I don't need to. I don't know. But anyway, that's my whole thought process. So I made this when I came back from Texas. I saved up enough copper, stripped off enough copper from poles. This is steel I-beam I hung by myself. I drilled through the wall, hung some angle iron to rest the angle I-beam on here. Framed this out, made a header in the back, drilled all this, did all this by myself. I am not a carpenter. I'm sure you can point something out here and say, you know, oh my God, why'd you do that? Well, just because I don't know. But I did what made sense, you know, made that extra strong, bolted it every 2 feet or so, or 2.5 feet to the back wall. I made my own staircase to get up there. But anyway, yeah, this was all done for free from copper stripping off of and going through the dumpsters. This was like 20-something $100 for free anyway, moving right along. This is my son's little workstation. It's a little bit of a mess. He never uses it. He's gonna start using it. This is some jet ski shit because I was really big into jet skis. Racing jet skis back in the day. This is all stainless hardware from jet skis. I'm a Sea-Doo person. I love Sea-Doos. We'll save that for another day, but yeah, just some random shit. My charging station for all my Milwaukee stuff. The fan that I never use, which I should be using. You can see all the dust accruing on it. This is another thing, cabinet I got from my neighbor. Keep my gas on the bottom. I gotta fill them up, they're empty. And all my miscellaneous spray cans and shit. Very important. You get yourself a, you know, sealed cabinet like this. If you're working in the garage, God forbid you're grinding, the last thing you need is to have a bomb go off from sparks. So, yeah. This is my Honduki 2000. This is a Suzuki Samurai transmission, 5-speed reverse, manual clutch linkage. This is a 13 horsepower Honda. I converted to electric start. We're going to use this in some sort of build. I'm going to do something with it. I have an idea. I just need time to do it. But yeah, this is going to work out really cool. I still got to do some modifications to it. The clutch, everything's aligned with the engine. I need to add a thrust washer here, thrust bearing, to prevent when you engage the clutch pushing the crankshaft through, you know, through the other side of the block. But this is my Samurai golf cart chassis, which I had built. I'm going to end up redoing this because I don't like cutting welds anymore. This is called a cut and weld. You cut it and then you weld it, obviously, hence the name cut and weld. I'm not a fan of it. Get you some rails bent like those, you know, lay your design out, contact SS Chassis Works, and then go to town. So but anyway, this is my shelf for the Cameo. I've got, you know, my panels here, inner cab corners, outers, all that shit. My front bumper for the Cameo. My hood, obviously, Cameo parts. Since the Cameo's on the table, we're gonna save that for last. I'm gonna go upstairs. This is my son's LS motor. Well, this is an LSA from the Cadillac that we went and picked up. Gonna be working on this soon. Now, again, keep in mind that I try and do everything myself, self-taught, you know, all that fun shit. So you might see something that doesn't look right. Doesn't make me a bad person. It just means that I won't quit learning. So this is my son's top end to his engine, obviously supercharger for his motor. He's got a lot of pretty bitchin' parts for his car up here. All the trim has been polished and undinged for his Bel Air. He's got tons of parts up here. This is glass, brand new glass for it, wire harness, all that shit. Just more storage area up here. Can never have enough storage. Ever, ever, ever. So this is my light setup that I added. Bought these off Amazon. Great deal. I'll leave a link in the description. They come as a kit. There's 10 strips, 8-foot strips. They're pretty easy to install. Just a clip, and then you pop the light up into it. In the instructions it says you shouldn't link more than 5. I've got 4 linked. For some reason my header is off. I gotta put the ladder there, see how the light's hanging, but anyway, I get sidetracked. Yeah, these things are awesome. I want to show you something. You shut them off from a switch here, and that's what I used to work with. 4 lights. There was one behind me that I just, you know, took out. It's hard. You can't see shit. So $200 on Amazon. Look at that. Look how nice and bright that is. So tailgate for the Cameo. This is all fiberglass. Yeah, needs a lot of love. Very hard to find. But yeah, let's go back downstairs. I don't use this that often, but I got obviously a bench grinder with a light. I probably use the light more than I use the grinder, but because I always have a grinder in my hand. Works good. My little assorted wire rack. Frame stiffeners for you know, a chassis. This here is kind of like my pegboard area. If I need to hang something, obviously put it up on the wall. I try and keep everything, or as much as possible, off the floor, because I don't like tripping over shit. It happens, but yeah. So we're gonna get to you in just a second, little man. Stay put. Now, I was at work a couple weeks ago. I found these in the dumpster. I'm gonna let you marinate on this for a minute. I want you to think about, what am I gonna build with these? It has to do with metalworking. Okay, just marinate on that. We'll get back to that in a second. This thing is a fucking turd. This brake is another thing I want to buy or fix. It's such a shit design. So I'm gonna either cut the whole top of this off or just make a whole new one from scratch. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But once you lock, you know, something in here and you go to bend it, this whole thing wants to slide backwards because of this cheapo shit that they made. So we gotta fix that, get that thing, you know, working up to speed. All right, so did I miss anything? Is there anything else important in here? My hydraulic press. I'll show you something that I made. I don't have the dies to bend metal, so what I did was I took some angle, welded, you know, 2-inch box tubing, so you can tighten that down. You can bend up some steel with it. Works really well. Obviously, you just need something to, you know, support it, to crack your bend on. But I forget the name of the company. They make a whole thing that you can bolt up onto this to bend your steel. I need to get that, because that's going to come in handy for the Cameo. Yeah, so that's basically summing up in a nutshell. I know you've seen my sign collection. I love collecting signs. They're all signs from different parts of the United States. Being a journeyman lineman, building power lines for a living, a lot of this stuff is electrical related. You know, it's pretty cool. I have more. I just haven't had a chance to put them up. But yeah. So anyway, this is my baby right here. Not the truck, the table. So I don't know how to start with this. I guess we'll start up on the front. Everything comes apart. The whole table comes apart. The legs come out. You can store the table up against the wall. But yeah, so the way this works is the way that I set this up is that depending on what size vehicle you have, these supports, they're not designed to support the weight of the vehicle. They're designed to just rest the tire onto the chassis table. Obviously the chassis fits inside of the table, so you can unbolt one side and then you can flip the bracket to the next side. And as I grow, I add all sorts of new things to the table. So one of the things I've added to the table was this guy right here, which I had to remove temporarily. This is 4-inch column, steel column. This gets bolted to the side of the table, and you can lay sheet metal 4 inch, 4 feet long. It's actually over 4 feet, in case if I wanted to bend by hand something 4 feet, it'll fit right in here. There's very little clearance. I want to say there's like I don't know, 1/8 of an inch of clearance, so it's not all loosey-goosey inside here. It's enough clearance to bead roll something and slide it in between it. And if I have to shim it out, I can just put a washer on the backside and push it out a little further. But one of the things that I've added, let me climb up underneath here, is this cart. And I know I'm going to have a problem with it because you can see the frame rail is going to end up hitting it. So I kind of have to redesign it, but it's not really that big of a deal yet. But basically what this cart is going to do is it'll obviously it's got wheels. Come on this side and show you. You can put a floor jack on this cart. It's hitting the you can rest the floor jack, and you can adjust the suspension, the rear suspension with this. An idea that I had. I started working on it, just didn't get around to finishing it. Baby steps, So this is, again, like I said, this is my baby, this table. I need to add another 4 feet off the back side of the table. I'll just add on to this and then put another set of legs. I want the table to come apart this way. It's not stuck in the middle of my floor, if you know what I'm saying. So every time I build something new, I do an adjustment to the table. I want to be, I don't want to say known, but I want to build chassis. That's where I want my specialty to be, is building chassis from scratch. So that's why I made me a frame table. There's some things, again, that I have to do to it, or I want to do to it, but just over time, baby steps. Rome wasn't built in a day. Boy, it's nice and bright in here, man. What a difference. Best $200 ever spent. I don't know, everybody has to specialize in something. I want to specialize in chassis builds, body drops, shit like that. So this is going to be my, this will or is my baby, as they say. This will, be like my number one used item in here, is that table. All right, so moving along, this here is my welder, 240 volt. It's not 110, it's 120 or 240. The 110, 220 days are long over. Little fun fact for you. Back in the day, it was 110 volts, 120. And what ended up happening was utilities got slick. And they said, well, we could safely increase the voltage coming into the house, thus making their meter spin faster and getting more money from the customer. And that's what they've done. So yes, back in the day it was 110 volts, 112 volts, around there, you know, 220, because single phase is 110, the other phase is 110. When you touch the two of them together, you get 220 volts. But now it's either 120 if you're at the end of a line, or it's normal standard is 125, 124, around there. And then you'd have 240 or 250, you know, phase to phase. So just a little fun fact for you. They got slick and they increased your voltage coming into the house, making your shit spin faster to get more money from you. That's Scotto. Anyway, getting back to the welder. This is a 240 volt Lincoln, obviously. I like it. I want to get a larger one, and here's why. I want to set one guy up for sheet metal, and I like using for sheet metal 023 when I weld steel, such as chassis. I like using 035 wire, so it's kind of a bit of a pain in the ass swapping all the time, but for now it works good. And don't hate on my CVS welding cart. It was for free and it works. So not everything you have to spend big money for. This is my Thermodynamics. This is a little old plasma cutter. This is like one of the first, I don't want to say first ones, but I bought this back in like 2001 or so, 2002. I've had only one issue with this welder, this plasma cutter. The motherboard went bad in it once before. 80 XL means 80 amps. This can cut up to 7/8 plate, this guy. The electrodes are very expensive. These are the electrodes it uses. It uses this here cup, and then it uses this tip. What I've noticed with this here plasma cutter is that when the tip becomes grounded, it doesn't want to cut. I've noticed a lot of people's plasma cutters aren't like that, where they can rest the tip on the steel and they can just drag it on the steel. But one of these days I'm going to replace it. Obviously when it goes, it works fine right now. It's a little dirty, but this card I got from the landfill, from the dumps, throwing shit out. Took it home. Works great. I love getting stuff for free. The older I get, the less I want to spend my hard-earned money on shit like that, carts. I'll either make it or get it for free. You know, I'm just not a fan of spending money on stuff like that, stupid shit. So, what are these rollers for? I don't know if you figured it out by now, but I'm going to put an image on the screen what these rollers are going to be used for. So, you guessed it, if you said a sheet metal roller. So what I'm going to do is I got to order some sprockets for one side to link them, you know, together. So you'll have, let's see if I can do it one-handed. All right. So you'll have your bottom set of rollers. You'll hook a chain to these, so these will roll. The other side you'll have a crank, so they both spin simultaneously. This roller will sit in the center and form a triangle, and you can adjust the center. The bottoms will be stationary. I got some parts here for free from the dumpster. Compliments of the city of Winter Park. But yeah, so this top roller will be adjustable. You slide your sheet metal in, you put a little pressure, and then you crank, and then you can form wheelhouses with these. So that's something I got to build. I just haven't had time to build it yet. But yeah. So there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Rat Rods for Africa channel that I found. Builds a lot of cool shit. Yes, he is from South Africa, and he builds everything from scratch. I'm talking C-clamps, shit like this from scratch. Just everything you can think of, this guy builds from scratch. And he inspired me to start thinking outside of the box and start building your own shit from scratch. I would like to build my bead roller from scratch, but we'll obviously save that for another day. We'll see. But yeah, so those rollers are going to work out really handy for you know, making wheelhouses. So this here is my garage. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's nothing to learn from it. This is just me letting you see a part of me, you know. Actually going to talk about the cameo in just a minute before we end the video. Yeah, I know it's a little bit messy. It's not like super duper messy like some people's garages, but I do prefer to work in a much cleaner environment. I mean, this will work for now. I just want to show you something else. This is my little storage spot. Obviously your garbage steel. I don't throw anything away. I scrap it because that's what we do. We recycle and we make money. Why would you throw it away in a dumpster and not get anything for it? This was all covered in weeds. But anyway, my yard, which I'm going to show you in just a second, my backyard used to look just like this. So these are trees infested with vines, and I'm talking not your standard vines. These motherfuckers are every bit of 1 inch plus thick, and they go from tree to tree to tree to tree. They just don't stop. But yeah, my yard used to look like this. I'm going to show you something in a minute. But yeah, this is the Corvette Cadillac, the CTSV that we got. The owner wants the car back. He didn't have the tools to pull the engine, so I pulled the engine, and one of these days he's gonna come back and, you know, take it back. But yeah, that's my son. I'll show you something really quick. So this here is my backyard. This, I kid you not, no, see if I can find a picture of it, used to look like that right there. You could not see from one side of the yard to the other. That's how bad it was. That's how infested it was. Pretty cool. Put a lot of work into this. Planted all those, they're called sweet viburnums. They're a hedge. These things grow like wildfire, so you got to stay on top of trimming them. Across the back of the fence there, it goes all the way down. My pool we had put in, my enclosure, tree that came down on the enclosure. But yeah, this is my my little nest egg. So guys, I'm being honest with you, speaking from the heart. Let me turn this fan off real quick. Neck hurts today. I'm gonna be leaving for Puerto Rico this Thursday. Money is very tight. I'm applying for a HELOC, home equity line of credit. Some plans that I'm thinking of, and I'm just gonna share them with you because that's the kind of guy I am. I want to sell the house eventually one of these days, buy 15 acres, 10 acres, kind of something similar to what Puddin has, except not on his scale. I think his is a little bit too big. and I want to give my son and daughter each, like, 2-3 acres, so that way we can build a little compound, and my son can build him a little house, my daughter can build her a little house, save him a ton of money. So one of these days we're going to find that land. Just can't find it right now. Land is very, very expensive. So that HELOC, that home equity line of credit, will come in handy when that time comes. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Do not fuck your credit up. Your credit worthiness means everything in life. Please do not fuck your credit up. Keep your credit score high 7s, low 8s. Do not, because there's going to come a time where you're going to get married, or you're going to need to get a loan from the bank, or you might need to get a second mortgage or something along those lines, and having shitty credit, judgments, bankruptcies, all that stuff, just going to hurt yourself. Pay your bills on time. Don't max your credit cards out. Be like me, having to go to Puerto Rico all the time to pay that shit off. But seriously though, I got to leave for Puerto Rico this Thursday. Monday, today's Sunday, Monday, I'm going to work on the Bel Air with my son, spend the whole day with him. Tuesday, I've got onboarding. Wednesday, I've got onboarding, training, insulate, isolate, equipotential grounding, just stuff we as linemen have to do. And Thursday, I fly out to San Juan. Don't know where I'm going. I'll find out when I get there, what part of Puerto Rico. But it's the only thing right now that's paying really good money. I'll be working 6/12s with 7 days a week, $150 a day per diem. Per diem is non-taxable income, so it's like $1,050 just in per diem alone. So yeah, don't fuck your credit up. No. I'm sorry, I gotta go. It is what it is. This YouTube thing is just not taken off for me yet, so I got to continue to make money until the day that YouTube does take off for me. The algorithm is not in my favor right now. Hey, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not going to give up. I will not give up. I will continue to make videos, and whether people choose to watch them or whether YouTube decides to show them, well then so be it. So enough of that bullshit. I just want to show you something real quick, and we're going to end this video. All right, why is the Cameo on the table? Let me just go over a few things with you really quick. Why the Cameo is on the table. So I don't have bed mounts. I don't have bumper mounts. I don't have fuel cell mounts and all that stuff. The body mounts are in, but they're too high. So I need to drop the cab of the chassis onto the chassis a little bit more. No front bumper mounts. And the reason why I'm having to get all this stuff done is once I complete the chassis, truck's going to come apart, and then it's going to go get powder coated. So chassis is going to be red, fire engine red, like this. This is fire engine red. So the chassis I'm thinking of doing red. The suspension components and all that other stuff, I'm either thinking of doing white to let me go on this side. For the insert will be white, inside the cab will be white, and the chassis will be red with white suspension components. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But in order for me to get everything done, I have to basically assemble the chassis, then disassemble the chassis and have it sandblasted and powder coated. So that's kind of why the Cameo is on the table. That's where we're at. Obviously can't do that right now. Once the truck is all done, it'll come apart, like I said, and we'll start working on the cab. I got all the pieces to fix this. By the time I get into doing the floor, I will have my fancy bead roller to create a whole new floor and firewall inside the cab of this truck. So just show you something real quick. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys got to see this or not, but yeah, a lot of cool stuff on this truck. It's turning the shit because I neglected it. But anyway, and as far as an engine, I'm thinking possibly 5.7 twin turbo for the Cameo, or 6.2 LSA. So it's either gonna be one or the other. Haven't decided yet. And a automatic transmission. I do not want to be shifting. I want to just get in the truck, turn the AC on, and cruise. That's kind of another reason why I'm not driving the Samurai, because it's been so fucking hot here in Florida, and without air conditioning, you just become very miserable. Have a great day. I will keep in touch with you guys, I promise. Say hi and keep in touch with me. Follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna put a link to my my TikTok, my TikTok. That's the name of it. It's all about line work. You can learn a little something about high voltage. That's kind of what that TikTok's all about. It'll be down in the description. Comment, share, watch the entire video. Don't cheat me, because I wouldn't cheat you. Have a great day. Stay out of trouble, and don't fuck your credit up. Take care.